Yes, hello everyone. Welcome back to WD18, the Watford fan channel. It's player ratings time after Millwall 0, Watford 0 at the Den. I'm joined by Sam and Elliot as usual for this one. We were just saying it is going to be a tough one today with the player ratings, and make sure you do get involved in the comment section and give us your player ratings. We'll try and get back to it and get you guys involved with the conversation, whether you're watching on Twitter or YouTube, whatever platform. Get involved in the conversation in the comment section and we'll read out your player ratings. Okay, so we'll start off, Sam, with the GK. I'm calling him the Austrian GK, and that is Daniel Bachmann in goal. A clean sheet tonight. Didn't have a lot to do, so I'll be interested to hear what rating you've given for Daniel Bachmann.
Yeah, a really difficult one. I'd say probably the most difficult one to put out there, because I was just saying on the match reaction that can't even talk really about his distribution today because he didn't really have anything to do. I mean, he had a really good save down to his near post, but a clean sheet away from home. I'll give him a 7. I think 7's fair. Didn't do anything wrong. Didn't have anything to do, so I'll give him a 7.
7. We've got a comment for Bachmann saying a 6, which is interesting. Elliot, is there any issues with that one? I would probably say it's around a 6.5 to 6.
Yeah, maximum 7.5, but yeah, I think 7's about right.
Yeah. Okay, we'll move on, Elliot, to right back Keegan Feminia. What are you giving him for his performance today?
I was hoping you'd go to Messina first. That's a tough one. Kiko. Yeah, I'd say 7.5. I think he did well. I think he's good. Obviously, it was a fairly standard Keegan Feminia performance. He went forward well. He did the defensive duties fairly well. It was a fairly simple performance for him. Didn't have much to do. Yeah, 7.5.
7.5. Sam?
Yeah, 7.5. I think that's fair. Perhaps between that 7 and 7.5 kind of gap. I think 6 is a bit harsh, just seen in the comments from Lil Warnes. Yeah, very typical Kiko performance. I think he looks exhausted, and I was surprised he didn't come out tonight.
Moving on to centre-back, Sam Sierrata. I really like Sierrata. I think he wins a lot in the air. And to be fair, I thought he did pretty well. Maybe the only point in the game where I thought he struggled a little bit was that sloppy yellow card in the second half. I think he was a little bit tight to his man. But apart from that, I thought it was another solid performance for him. What did you give him?
Yeah, I'm going to give him an 8. I thought he was solid tonight. I thought he marshalled their attackers really well. I thought they looked a bit threatening from set pieces at times, but I'd say that's more of a collective issue with the team and the way we set up at corners. That's a whole separate debate. But yeah, I'd give him an 8. He seems to get better by the week, and his confidence looks up there as well.
Oh. Yeah, it does seem that Sierrata's kind of put himself as one of the first names on the team sheet. I think we've said that before, Sam, haven't we? Go on, mate. Yeah. I just think he's brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about the debate with who should be our back two, but I think it's more of a debate now between who partners Sierrata more than anything else, because I think there's worthy arguments in there for Troost-Ekong, who we'll come on to in a minute. I thought he was solid again. I think Wilmot's quality. I really like him. I think Kabasele offers something, and Cathcart also offers something as well. So it's a really, really difficult one, but I think Sierrata is the main standing one in there for me. Solid, fantastic.
And the man I thought played really well tonight, Elliot, was Troost-Ekong. I mean, he won everything in the air, and I think particularly in this sort of game when it is a very direct Millwall approach, particularly on the pitch, it was a lot of aerial balls. I thought he dealt with it well. Troost-Ekong, I think he's been top. I think he's been top draw since he's come to Watford. But tonight's performance, what would you give him?
I'd give him a 7.5. I feel like I'm just doing end of 7.5 here, but yeah, I think 7.5 is about right. I think he did everything he needed to do right. I think there were a couple of times where he could have kept to his man a little bit better when the ball was in the air, but generally I think he played well. So yeah, 7.5.
7.5. We'll look at some of the comments. Troost 8.5 from Joe.
We need to get that going. When we're back in stadiums, whenever Troost has the ball, the whole stadium, we need him going Troost whenever he gets it.
I love that.
Can't wait.
He looks class, Troost-Ekong. Caroline's gone for an 8.5. Aaron's gone 8. Sierrata back from Drew says 8.5. I think the two centre backs today, what they had to do, they did well. And the left back, sorry, Elliot, I'm going to have to pass it over to Sam for this one. Unless you really want to do Messina.
I'll go with Elliot. Elliot,
go on, mate. Go on, you can have the
I feel bad marking Messina down for a goal that didn't stand, but I'm pretty sure it was him, so correct me if I'm wrong. But he left Jake Cooper to win the ball in the air, and I think he lost his man a couple too many times today, and his passing was good. His passing is much improved from before his injury, and we know he's not 100% fit yet, so I need to cut him a bit of slack. But I'd give him a 6.5 today.
6.5. I think that's relatively fair, Sam. I don't know if you have any complaints about
that. I thought Messina was I'd say 7.5 actually, because
7.5.
Yeah, I thought the whole back four today. I thought they were solid. I know we talk about losing Jake Cooper over there, but again, I think Messina is doing well considering he's not fully fit yet, and we're not seeing the best out of Messina. And I was saying to you off air, I was saying to both of you off air that I think it makes such a big difference having a left back, a left-footed left back in the team, because they're not taking those extra touches to get it back on their right foot. And I'm not giving him the 7.5 on virtue of that. I thought it was solid today and didn't really do much wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll move on to the midfield four, which was an interesting midfield four, same as the Stoke game in the sense that we had Hughesy playing a little bit out of position, and then Cleverley at times, well, not today, but Cleverley in the Stoke game was playing a little bit out of position as well. We'll start off with Chalobah, central midfield 2. Sam, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, I'm going to give Chalobah a 7.5. I thought he was really, really good today. I know a lot of people disagree with that. I thought he was really good. I thought he got the ball out his feet quickly. I thought he was blocking play off from Millwall. I don't know how many challenges he completed, but I thought he was getting really stuck in today. And I think that's what we really need from Nathaniel Chalobah. And obviously he came really close to scoring with a really, really good effort on goal. And I think we are really starting to see Chalobah come into some form at the moment.
Yeah, I thought Chalobah was decent today. I thought he was very good in the second half against Stoke, and I thought he put in a decent performance there. I think it was very difficult to get a grip on the midfield, to be honest with you. I don't want to sound like I'm just blaming on the pitch, but it is difficult, I think, to play on the ground for starters. And to be fair, someone mentioned in the chat, cracking shot from him in the second half, which was probably one of the best efforts. I mean, it did have a bit of swaz on it. Max says Chalobah's been great since Munoz has been in. I think he's definitely improved. And Charlotte says the midfield three of Hughes, Chalobah and Cleverley all play well tonight. Overall, they didn't offer the right balance, though. Cleverley, Elliot, is it a similar rating to Chalobah as Sam gave him, or is it a bit higher or lower?
Yeah, I'm really trying not to give another 7.5, but I feel like that's about right. Yeah, 7.5, I think, because it was difficult against a Millwall midfield that seemed to take any free kick they could get. Ryan Woods would go down at the drop of a hat. Even Kiftembeld, who's a tough tackler, and he got a yellow card quite early on. I felt like he didn't really look up to the fight compared to someone like Cleverley, and it was a difficult day for the midfielders in a game where so many fouls were being drawn and so many times the referee was getting the yellow card out. So it was against him a bit today, and I think he thrived despite that. I think he created some of the chances quite well. And yeah, we're seeing the best of Cleverley and Chalobah at the moment. I think we should relish that, and hopefully it continues, because we need to see both of them in a consistent run of form.
Absolutely. That was Cleverley. So we'll move on to Hughesy, Sam. I think most people who agree was probably one of our stand-up performers today. There was shouts for man of the match. I think you said in the match reaction, didn't you? And we've only just recorded it, but you did say he was man of the match. Surely got to be probably the highest rating today, Hughesy?
Yeah, I'm going to give Hughesy an 8. I actually also gave Tom Cleverley an 8. But I think I'm giving Hughesy the man of the match award for me, simply because of the impact he has on this team as a whole, the way he drives the ball forward, his commitment he shows to tackles, and just generally the protection he provides for the back four and going forward. So I'm going to give Hughesy an 8. I thought it was absolutely fantastic today. Yeah,
some really high ratings in the comments, and I think deservedly so today. Hughesy did play well, and looked, as we said in the match reaction. If you haven't watched, make sure you do go in and check the match reaction out. I thought Hughesy was one of the better. Was really good today, and he looked a lot better in central midfield rather than being pushed out to the left hand side, which I think Cisco's trying to provide a bit of protection to Messina on the left potentially. I think it might be the thinking behind it, but I think we all know how good Hughesy can be in the central midfield, and I think we saw a step up in the Watford performance when he played in the middle rather than out wide. So we'll move on to the next player rating, and that is, we've done the midfield. I think we've done it. Yeah, we have done the midfield.
Yeah,
Sar Elliot. You said he was your man of the match in the player rating. Yeah. What was it about his performance today, and what rating would you give him?
It was just how connected to the play was. He wasn't sort of left to do the final action. He was really involved. He was getting the ball a lot more. His dribbling was far more effective than I've seen it. And he just looks like a team player, which is, I don't want to criticise Sarr for how he's played the season, because I think he's been one of our best performers. But I sometimes feel like it's a little bit, we'll get to Sarr at the end, or we'll play that final pass to Sarr and see what he does with it. It felt like Sarr was part of the build-up. Felt like he got the ball a lot, and he played a pass at one point into Deeney, a really good through ball, and unfortunately nothing came of it. But it showed that he can create as well as he can cross or he can shoot. So I'd give him an 8.5, I think.
8.5. Yeah, comment. Sorry.
Yeah, it's difficult because I would maybe have given Hughes an 8.5. So that's not me necessarily saying he was better than Hughes, but yeah, I think he was the standout performer for me.
Yeah, it's interesting in the comment section. We've got ratings from 6.5 to 8.5. Elliot says real mixture. Charlotte says Sarr didn't offer much tonight. Saw a few flashes of what he could do, having a great chance saved. Only a 6.5 though. He's played better recently. Whereas Aaron says he's an 8, man of the match. And then you've got Lou who says 7.5, 8. 7.7.5. We really are going into the decimal points. I think we're only going to stick to one decimal point if that's the right thing. Sarr is a 7.5. Says Harry. Sarr is brilliant, says Drew, but Mill didn't make it easy for us to see him at his best. 7.5. So it seems between the 7.5 to 8.5 bracket. So I think around that mark's probably fair, mate. We'll move on to the top two, Sam. I think it was interesting. I think we kind of understand. I think we've seen the reaction from a number of Watford fans when the lineup comes out, and it's that partnership. I think people aren't a massive fan of it. How did you think we'll start off with Andre Gray did today? Because I think it's split opinion, Andre.
I'm going to give him a 6. I know people be saying much lower. I've seen further up people saying 2, 3, 4. I'm going to give him a 6 because I didn't think the chances today were easy at all. I think it's a confidence problem with him. Like, for example, when he's going through on goal and he tries to square it for Troy, I think an informed Andre Gray tries to shoot over there. And just same old Gray just leaning back in the first half as well. But I thought his link-up play was okay tonight. He was getting physical. It's a really difficult one because I really don't want to go in on Andre Gray. I really want to be patient with him, but it's becoming increasingly difficult. So on reflection, I'll probably lower it to a 5 actually.
Yeah.
But yeah. I think 5.
Well, I'll tell you what. We'll have a look through some of the comments, which is always a good kind of gauge of what people thought. 4.5, 6. Joe says Bailey need a new striker. Mr. Blake says 4. Gray 4 says Harry. Tom says Grazy 10 out of 10. Easily clear of Lethal Blissett, and that's a lifetime contract. Andre was all right at everything apart from his finishing. I mean, we've got a lot of ratings. I'll tell you what, Elliot, I'll cross it over to you as well. What would you give Andre Gray? We'll find an average. So Sam's got. Are we committing at 5 or 5.5?
Yeah, I'll commit at 5. I think.
Commit at 5. Elliot, what are you going for?
6. Because I agree with Aaron.
5.5 average. There we go.
Yeah, it's the lack of the final shot. It's the lack of the finishing ability at the end of it, and we're so close to seeing Andre Gray actually perform to the level that we want him to see. And there is a link up with Deeney. There's a bit of link up. I don't think it's as good as people have said it should be, but we know that there's a bit of a it's so tough. Yeah, I think
I think Elliot, just picking up on something you said, we are so close with Gray now. I genuinely think we're close to him just getting that goal. I think he just needs that goal to get the weight off his shoulders. Problem is we don't have time in this league, and we said it on the match reaction that it's coming at a cost now, Pedro not being in the team. So it's finding that balance.
It is, yeah. I think it is about that balance, and I think people are saying that in the chat as well. Sam, I will cross it over to you for Troy, who I actually thought had some good link-up play time.
Yeah,
I mean, he had that great effort with the overhead kick. What you said he played well. What would you give it?
I give Troy 6.5. I thought he did really well tonight. Getting stuck in, he really enjoys these sorts of games. I think where it's really physical, and he had a man on him pretty much the whole time. And I think at one point he lost his cool and pushed him to the ground. I just thought again it wasn't really like a big night for Troy. He kind of went under the radar, but it was generally that graft and the hard work. I think, and the virtue of that, I'm going to give him a 6.5. And I think with Troy, the difference between Troy and Andre is I don't think Troy always has to offer goals. I think he can bring something more to the team, and I think under Xisco his game has changed and he is improving, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, Llewellyn's an interesting point here, Elliot. Dini 6.5, same rating as you, Sam. But I'm not sure if that's because he's been better than what we're used to, or he's actually been good.
Yeah, no, that's true.
What do you think of that, Elliot? Oh, Sam.
Elliot, go ahead.
I'm with both of you on the 6.5 there, Lou and Sam. I think it's not Dini at his absolute best. I don't think it's anywhere near as good as he was on Friday against Stoke, but he didn't have the opportunities that he had on Friday against Stoke. So it's a very difficult one to gauge. I think it's fair to say that he wasn't at his best, but I think it's also fair to say that he was involved in the play, which is more than what we can say for some weeks prior. Yeah, he was involved in the play. He had a couple of good moments with Sarr and with Gray, with the chances that he had with Gray. He was involved in the play and he tried no head kick, and that's enough for about 4 minutes.
Yeah, 6.5 is, I think, what most people are going for. Charlotte did mention that moment, Sam. Great moment when Troy got frustrated with the defender, wrestled into the ground. Troy loves a battle. I think we can all agree with that. Okay, we'll move on to the substitutes. Probably the one, João Pedro and Zinchenko. I actually agree with the substitutes at the time, Sam. You know, I thought the game was crying out for a little bit more creativity in the final third, and I think Zinchenko and João Pedro, from what we've seen of Zinchenko, offers that. Despite people saying he lost the ball a few times, I'm going to stick up for my man, Philip. I think he looked a lot more positive when he came on the pitch, and he was actually starting to run at players. Nice give and goes, I thought, as well. And I mean, the only aspect of the game he needs to improve on is his corner taking, because I think he's actually he's got the Watford gene in that respect. Because we've seen it how many times in the last 5 years where we don't beat the first man. But Zinchenko, from what you saw today, what is your rating?
It's really, really difficult because, again, I thought when he came on, I thought the whole mood of the game changed. I thought we looked more positive when he did come on. His corners really let him down, I thought, and his movement off the ball really good. The 1-2s, and while he didn't always get the ball back, I'll give Zinchenko probably a 6.5, 7. I think that's fair considering he was a substitute. I don't know if Elliot disagrees.
I'm with you on that. I think I'd give him a 7. It's weird with Zinchenko because, as we saw against Stoke and today, he does sort of lift the team without really doing anything straight away. And yeah, like you say, the little 1-2s were good. He had a couple of moments where he looked like he could break through the defence. He didn't do anything worse than anyone that was in the attack, and he didn't do anything that was much better than the people that he replaced. So I think that's fair. The corners were absolutely abysmal. I can't believe
yeah, they weren't great, were they?
Hughes on the other side that was playing the good corners in. It's a little bit difficult to give him a pass for that. But he does need to start. I need to see more of him. And I understand that we need to have someone in front of Messina that provides a bit defensively. Zinchenko doesn't really get involved with the physical aspect, which is disappointing because I think his tackling stats were quite good at Bodo Glimt. But yeah, I need to see a bit more on the physical side from him, practice the corners at training, and he'd be up. But yeah, for now, I'd give him a 7.
It does seem that Zinchenko needs to start now because we've seen flurries of him, we've seen flurries of what he can do. I think Manchester United away was when we thought, you know what, we've got a decent player here. And we need to give him a run in the team, I think, because it's all well and good bringing him off the bench as an impact sub, but yeah, it's difficult to make an impact for me, and I think we do need to give him a run in the games. Thank you to everyone who's watching, by the way. At the moment, we're streaming on Twitter and YouTube for this one, so thank you very much for watching. And if you do enjoy the video, please do leave a like. It's massively appreciated, and subscribe to the channel. We've got plenty more content on the way. We'll probably have a video, maybe of Rob Elliott joining the club. I think that's going to be confirmed tomorrow by The Athletic. So that's according to The Athletic, I think, where they said that. So we'll probably have a video on that. But yeah, thank you very much to everyone who's watching this evening. The final, there was only 2 substitutes, wasn't there? I think it was João Pedro who came on.
Not much to talk about. Yeah, just not much to talk about with Pedro. I was thinking though with PZ7 and JP10 today, I thought it was really difficult for
the initials.
Yeah, it's a difficult game for subs to come into with how physical it was with the condition of the pitch, and you know, I said it at the start of the match reaction. It's just generally a difficult game to play in, so even more difficult for the subs to come into it. And Pedro didn't really do much, so I don't think it's fair to give Pedro a rating.
Yeah, Elliot, would you agree with that? He probably didn't do enough, maybe to warrant a rating, probably.
Yeah, if he did, it would be a sort of average with the rest of the team. He didn't come in and change the game, but he didn't sort of stink out the whole stadium. Yeah, he was okay. What he did quite well. He played a couple of good passes. So yeah, just sort of run-of-the-mill average.
And finally, Xisco Munoz. Now, this is a really interesting one because I think if you'd said it before, that based on the lineup, people may have given him a low rating, and they might still do that. But after you've seen the performance now, Sam, actually, Elliot, I'll cross it over to you. Then I'll go Sam. Elliot, what would you give Xisco Munoz for his lineups, approach to the game, his tactics, and his substitutions?
It's very hard to mark down someone that is so nice and so sort of
his best mate as well.
6.5. Again, I think it's sort of got to be within the averages of the team a little bit. The lineup didn't make sense. He needed to make more changes. He needed to start Zinchenko. He needed to rest Keegan Feminia. He could have rested Sarr. Yeah, a lot of these things need to change. And we since know, by the way, that Ken Summer picked up a knock. That was something that I forgot to mention. So that's why he wasn't in the squad. But yeah, if I based it on the formation, it'd be a lot lower. And if I based it on the substitutions, it'd be a lot higher. So it sort of averages out. And the approach wasn't right today. And there's an opportunity to fix that against QPR. So 6.5 from me.
6.5, Sam. Quick fire.
Yeah, I'd probably go with a 6. Actually, I think that's not necessarily a reflection on today. I just generally still think he's a naive coach, and he's learning every single game. I think he is learning, and whether it's him making these decisions or someone above him is a whole separate thing that we're never probably going to find out. But yeah, I think he's learning, and the lineup today wasn't great, but the subs were good. But he needs to come up with a plan B, so probably averages out at a 6.
That's where we're going to wrap it up. And someone did say, rate the pitch, but I don't actually think it warrants a rating, in all honesty. And I know that sounds like we've been spoiled with the Watford pitch. And I think it's Scott Tingley, the groundsman at Watford, who's done an amazing job with the pitch. Absolutely amazing. And even the training ground as well. I mean, we saw, I think Xisco put something on his story the other day, and I was just like, the pitch has been the training pitch have improved, let alone Vicarage Road. So hats off to the ground staff who've done a brilliant job. But yeah, that's where we're going to wrap up the player rating.
Play of the month.
Play of the month. Sam's reminding me. Right, so tomorrow. Yeah. Poor for me. Cheers. Oh, Mike, that's top draw. Take it easy, fellas. We're cracking content this season. Thank you very much, Mike. We really do appreciate it. Make sure you go and check out Mike's podcast with Ben, the voices of the Vic, who do some brilliant stuff. Play of the month. Now, we've got a few nominees. You can probably guess in the chat, but we will be posting that on WD18 tomorrow. Sam will be posting it, the main man on the Instagram. We've got. Do you want me to tell who it is, Sam? Or
yeah,
are we?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so we've got 4: Daniel Bachmann, Sierrata, Keegan Feminia, and Troy Deeney. That is the 4. Now, we've already said...
We're going Tom Cleverley as well. 5. Well, Tom
Should
Cleverley
we go 5?
as well.
We'll go Tom Cleverley
Yeah,
as well.
Tom Cleverley, I thought, yeah.
Okay, that is the 5. We've already got Sierrata, Kiko. So we're going to go 5. That is Bachmann, Sierrata, Kiko, Cleverley, and Deeney. So that is going to be the 5 players. It's a difficult one. But if you want to get involved, make sure you come and check it out on @WD18fans on Twitter and Instagram. We'll be running a poll and our social posts as usual. But thank you very much for getting involved, guys, tonight. We really do appreciate it. After what was, as I said in the match reaction, a frustrating evening, but it's finished Millwall 0, Watford 0 at the Den. Make sure you go and check out Sam and Elliot on their Twitters. The @ is just there as usual. And don't forget to subscribe to WD18. We'll be back for some more content in the coming days and looking ahead to the home game against QPR on Monday night, which is another big game for Watford. The games are coming thick and fast. Take care of yourself, guys. Speak to you soon, and come on, you on it. Cheers, guys.